Monday Night Live.
Here we are.
Welcome, everybody. Super excited to join you tonight, Monday Night Live. Kate Semmens, Dean Nixon. Super excited to join you tonight. Man, we had a great self-love workshop on Friday.
It was really, I love that you said that. Man, we had a great workshop. Dean crushed it.
I don't know about that, but it was a lot of fun.
It was actually really fun because we were talking about chairs. We had a certain amount of people because we only have a certain amount of chairs here at TurningLeaf, right?
Yes, in that room.
I mean, we can keep pulling in some different chairs, but all the matching ones, which is pretty important around here for some people to have matching things.
I like things matching and comfortable, so.
But he's like, okay, so I don't get a chair, and I was like, I'll give you my chair and I'll do the workshop. And he was like, okay. It was a joke because no.
Yeah,
you do such a good job with that topic.
I would have let you do it. You probably could have crushed it. You probably would have crushed it.
Well, I would have done all right, but definitely not as good as you.
No. Anyway, it was wonderful. We had some really good pieces in there that were important for us to understand. And one of the main things that we need to understand in self-love is really understanding who the relationship with us is.
Yes.
And we have this oftentimes confusing understanding. Like everybody talks about love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Well, if you don't understand how you see yourself, then how can you truly embrace yourself?
Right. I love it. I love how we broke down all those pieces and then put in the different layers of the tangible, actual, how to go in and look at the different aspects of self. Here at TurningLeaf, we do a 6 points thing. What do you call that, Dean? Concept, maybe?
This just the 6 points.
The 6 points.
Yeah.
So it really helps you break down into those pieces of you, like you were just saying.
Yeah, the different aspects of who we are and the importance to take care of, nurture, and to invest in each of those areas is really critical.
Yeah. And there's no greater time, I think, in the history of the planet with more awareness around that than right now, about how important it is to truly put yourself as a priority, to learn how to know and love yourself. Yeah. So welcome to 2020, everybody.
2020.
Get working on your self-love. But
it is so interesting to me to think about it's 2020. Like that is the craziest thought to me to realize that it is, you know, we're in 2020. And in that, for a young boy growing up, 2020, I remember when like 1990 seemed forever away. And now we're in 2020. But yes, I so agree with you. The level of enlightenment or the level of awareness that we are experiencing in our world today compared to is phenomenal. And the thing that I like about it is that it's exposing us to new and different ideas of modalities of help for people. But not only that, it's reaffirming that some of the oldest work and the oldest methodology in really helping us move forward as human beings is being confirmed more and more every day. So the more we get into the mindfulness, the more we get into the meditation, the more we get into the internal coping mechanisms, the more it just confirms that those modalities, those styles and methods are so critical and important.
Yeah, I love that too. It's like such a beautiful merging of the new with the old.
Yes.
It really is. It's an exciting time to be alive.
It is. It's super exciting, super cool. Well, tonight we were going to jump into some really cool topics. Of course, the one that is on everybody's mind, we are close to Valentine's Day, thus
I wore pink to symbolize the love inside of my soul, and Dean wore black to symbolize the love inside of his soul.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. I really did wear pink tonight for Monday Night Live for Valentine's Day.
When she came in, she's like, I wore pink for Valentine's Day. I knew it was coming. I knew you were going to roast me at some point.
Roast it.
Anyway, so tonight we wanted to talk about inertia and how it plays a role in our lives.
And it's really actually kind of a fun time to talk about that because I think that, okay, shall we define inertia before I go on to that tangent?
Yes.
Okay, so Dean Nixon, how would you define inertia?
Inertia, if we get into the scientific, it's a body in motion stays in motion until it comes in contact with equal or opposite size, which will either stop it or send it into a different direction. But it's essentially momentum or energy that is created by movement. And the minute we start movement, we create inertia.
Right. And we talked about this for all of you that were in our goals and intentions workshop. We talked about the importance of using inertia to manifest and create the things that you want in your life.
Right.
But I love how we can apply this to so many different aspects. Today it's going to take a love turn, I think.
Okay.
Valentine's Day. So the easiest way to kind of visualize this is like a boulder rolling down a mountain, right? Like you push the boulder, it starts going, and all of a sudden all of that momentum, right? And then like you were saying, until it is stopped.
Right. And the other metaphor I like to use is, have you ever had one of those experiences, and some of you have, where you've gotten in a car and you're pushing it, and you're like, it's out of gas, and you're pushing the car, and you're pushing.
Or you got to pop the clutch to get it to start.
And all of a sudden, you realize that it's going faster and faster and faster and faster. And just imagine if you would. Inertia is one of these things that we have to realize, and this is the turn that I thought you were implying, but it plays into it. So if I'm pushing the car down, trying to get it moving, and once it gets its own momentum, to try and get in and change the course of that car, grabbing that steering wheel and trying to change it with it, there's no power steering now.
Right.
Now it's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of effort to get it to not careen with another car, to not rear end another car or damage another car or go into other property, etc. And so a lot of times we are trying to change the course. We're trying to grab a hold of that and change that energy, but that inertia's already got that car headed down the street, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so with the boulder, yes, boulder releasing and moving down like we talked about in the goals and intention. But I want to talk really about the energy of the choices that we make. Sometimes they become our consequences. And sometimes we're frustrated with the consequences that we have. And this is the part that you and I were talking about, how discouraging that can be.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because of that effort we have to use to crank, right?
Exactly.
So that's what we're going to be getting into today. And believe me, this is very much going to come if you're like, why the heck are Kate and Dean, I was going to say Kate and Dane.
Kate and Dane.
Talking about boulders and cars. Like, what does this have to do with life coaching, with personal development, with emotional growth, all that kind of stuff? So,
right.
Because, by the way, too, I'm seeing lots of new people pop in here, which is so exciting. You guys are so happy to have you. The whole point of our Monday Night Live is every week we want to come at you with some sort of topic that's going to help move you forward in your path in life. So coping skills, coaching topics, emotional growth, all that kind of stuff. That's what you're here for. And I think we deliver every week.
Well, there you go.
I'm just going to put it out there. So today we're talking about inertia.
So the inertia piece is where we get into consequences. And oftentimes when we talked about the goals and intentions, for example, and we're like, okay, these are the goals. These are the things I want to move towards. This is what I want to create in my life. Well, we get into February, and this is usually where February, March, people start giving up.
Right.
And a lot of that's because we get frustrated. We don't realize that some of the consequences of the choices that we were making prior to our goal setting, prior to us really sitting down and putting our intentions together, we're still paying the price for those. And so getting in and starting to steer that car is really critical for us to do, and to stay in it and recognize that, okay, the inertia that I'm creating today is what's going to determine where I wind up tomorrow, where the inertia from yesterday is affecting where I am today. We get discouraged, and a lot of people get discouraged. I always chuckle. We talk about this every year, how the gym starts thinning out.
Yes.
And first of the year, us old timers, we kind of look around at each other. We chuckle because we can't get to any of the weights or any of the machines because there's all these new people that we've never seen before. But by February, March, it starts to clear itself out, and it has a lot to do with this. what is your intention? What is the purpose? And staying focused on your intention, staying focused on your purpose is what helps you get the inertia heading in the direction you want it to go. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, 100%. Because we just talked about how awesome it is to be in this new and exciting time in history, right? Where we have this new and this old merging together. Well, consequently, we also live in a very instant gratification time in society and in our life. And so a lot of the things that you're talking about right now, Dean, aren't instant arrivals. They don't show up, right? It's not like you can like just Google it and bing, you got your summer bod now, right? Like, so we're talking about the gym, so we'll just keep going there. Or whatever it is that you really set your goals, your resolutions, whatever you do at the new year, because we want it now.
Right.
But that's the point of inertia, is you start moving things in the direction that you want it to go, and eventually it will get there if we don't allow those little road bumps, the things that kick you in your throat, right? That make you want to stop and be like, this isn't working, this is stupid, or you meet a lot of resistance and it'll throw you off your path.
Very much so. And it gets very, very frustrating and discouraging. And I think that the self-gratification, the immediate reaction response, it really is one of those things, and I'm glad that you brought it up, is we don't spend enough time learning and focusing on cause and effect. You know, we really don't spend time recognizing that cause and effect is a player here. What is the cause? What is the effect of what I'm doing? And the ownership of that, and recognizing the ownership of that. Meaning, okay, if I created this, then what am I going to create now? What is the cause? What is the effect? Do I not like the effect?
Right.
Then I need to adjust and go again.
Right, that course correction like we were just talking about, right? Like, oh gosh, I'm actually going to head into a curb over this way. I'm going to need to crank the wheel a little bit this direction.
Right.
And course correct. I got to read this because this comment is really good. So the Beige Panther says, I call it the microwave era. We want things easily and right away and frozen in the center. I don't know about the frozen in the center part. I think I would like it nice and warm all the way through. No, but I definitely understand your metaphor.
Yeah, like I'm pulling it out. We're like trying to stir it around. It's warm enough.
Yeah, it's good
warm enough. Yeah, I feel
it's already cooked. I'm just heating it up.
Yes. And we do get to that point where we want that immediate gratification. That's where we get discouraged. That's why we have to recognize what inertia is and how to use inertia to our benefit. And if I stay focused on my intention and I stay focused on my purpose, then I can override the discouragement. And that's the part that we really got to talk about, is that discouragement of I'm not getting the results I want right now. I'm not getting the things that I'm looking for immediately. So how do I stay focused? How do I stay on board? How do I stay connected?
Yeah, and I think kind of unfortunately too, there's a lot of different educational things out there about stuff like this, like The Secret or any sort of manifestation tool, right? Which talks about that, like the end result of this inertia process, of this course correction, of honing in on what it is that you actually want to create and being able to like just hang in there until it arrives, which it will. Like that's the point of it, right? Is that it will arrive. No matter what it is that you want, it will come. However, it just makes it look like it happens like that, right? Like I put it up on my vision board, I think about it for a week, and I've got my mansion. That's how it works, right? That's inertia.
Yeah.
Like in a nutshell. No. That's not how it works.
That's it really, and that's the interesting part about it, is in some cases it can work that way, but in most cases it doesn't. And that's why, because one of the reasons that it can work that way is if we can get the inertia, if we can get enough positive energy and enough positive things happening in our lives. And this is why we don't want to do that unhealthy piece that really discourages us, which is looking outside of ourselves and comparing.
Right.
Because there are individuals that have gotten to a point where they are staying in that positive vein. They've created enough movement in a positive direction in their lives that things may look like they come a little bit easier, but you don't see all the prior work before that.
Right. That's
right. It's like showing up and and being having Tom Brady and I show up at the same football field, and we're playing flag football against each other. Like, he's going to hit every single pass he makes. His completion is going to be higher than mine because of all the years of inertia that he's already put in, all the years it took to get him into that space where he's going to hit every single thing. Where for me, I'm going to get frustrated because I've got to shift that inertia because that hasn't been where my focus has been. That's not where my intention has been. So it's the same kind of concept as, yes, your intention may not have been in these areas before. Your intention may not have been in using the same metaphor of the physicality. Is maybe your intention hasn't been of, okay, well, I'm going to eat healthier, I'm going to be stronger, I'm going to keep doing these things more in my life. And so now you're shifting that intention where another person that's been their focus for many periods, many years. And so all of a sudden, and I see this, it's like with the weight loss contests.
Oh, yes.
It's like how many pounds or how much shape. And so you're like, oh, they just lost 10 pounds in a week. How did they do that? Well, first of all, they shouldn't have done that. That's super unhealthy. But you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, totally. And I think another piece of that is I'm gonna hit the teens with this a little bit and the young adults. Good. Because you see someone's effort that they've been putting in. You don't. I'm sorry, I'm backtracking. You don't see the effort that was been put in for decades before you showed up on the scene, and then you see all this abundance, right? I think people really compare themselves to their parents, and they expect to step out of, like, at 21 into having a mortgage and a career that's like just kind of crushing it, right? Like, hello, these adults have been working on this for 20 some odd years. Like, this is not something that happens. Not that it can't happen, because we need to be optimistic and dreamers and believers. I think that's well, at least I choose to operate my life that way. But there is that whole piece, that inertia piece is what we're talking about. The buildup and the momentum, and then it's like boom, 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 boom. So I love how you said that, right? Like, it's that long road, and it doesn't necessarily have to be 40 years, right, of a long road. That's not what I'm talking about. But there is going to have been foundation stones and progress and work and course correction and hanging in there through the times when people try to ram you off the road. Because that's another situation that comes up, right? When you're heading in the direction that you want to go and someone's like, oh, hang on a minute, that's not really working for me. And they try to course correct you. And then I think that's another big piece in the keeping the inertia moving. Oh,
there are those situations where people may become uncomfortable with your growth. They may be uncomfortable with the direction that you're taking. They may not understand what you're trying to create because the communication isn't there. And so that is that inertia, with the, object stays in motion until it comes in contact with something that changes its course. And yes, there can come those events. And I see people will go through events where they go through a disease or divorce, or they go through hurt or pain or whatever those things. They can start to make a huge effort in changing course and changing your course. And sometimes it's for the better. Sometimes it's actually helping you move in a better place. I see some people that will get a disease and it really is or a heart attack, and it's a real gut check for them. And you see them coming out stronger and better. So we want to see those things as important lessons along the path. But again, purpose and intention, purpose and intention, purpose and intention. Those are the keys to really keeping committed. So whatever goals you've set, whatever things that you've set to move yourself forward, that's the key.
Yes. Purpose and intention. I love it. And it's already been 19 minutes.
Oh, good grief.
I know. I'm the one that noticed this week. It's nuts. To answer your other question, Beige Panther, we do have a podcast coming your way really, really soon. So we're going to get you those details really soon. If you like what we got going on here, imagine this with like no filter. And a lot more banter because we have the capacity and the time to do that. Yes.
And we might get off on some tangents. Yeah. I love tangents.
Yes.
So
I feel like we always present ourselves authentically here. What you see is what you get. But we also, we're life coaches and we're going to put our best foot forward. And
well, but I think we're funny. And I think we'll be
too.
funnier on a podcast. So
I agree.
We'll see.
I agree.
We'll see. Maybe.
Thanks, Todd, by the way. You're awesome too.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and share our videos as always. Go to our Instagram page, like and share on our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. Subscribe.
Good job.
I did it.
You got all the words right.
I did it. All right. And so thank you. We'll see you next Monday Night Live.
Yes. Real quick, though. Don't forget this to take to your dinner table, that
Yes.
water cooler. Talk about these things, especially with your kids. Help them understand this concept of inertia and course correction and intention and all of those kind of, and purpose. All of those things. Gosh, I wish I would have known about it when I was 17.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, you guys have a great week. Mwah. You going high?
I'm going high.
Okay, bye.
Bye.